But
Hey
yeah,
everybody, welcome to Pocket Change, where we talk about reselling, kind of talk about other things that happen in the world. Nothing real important because we don't want to get political. So, oh no,
you don't want to get in trouble.
no, we don't want to
Um,
say something wrong. We don't want Trump to cancel us.
we'll just take a quick moment, shout out though for Minneapolis. Everybody be whatever you believe right now. I don't care. It didn't matter to me. Take a moment, whatever. A lot of stuff going on up there with that church shooting. It was actually a school shooting at a church. So just whichever side of the aisle you're on, doesn't matter. There's a lot of people hurting, and so just remember them. But anyway, yeah, if anybody notices, Ben's is at his old location because he's actually at home this weekend because it's Labor Day weekend. So
Yes, yes, I got a reprieve, so I don't have to sneak back home on Sunday. I have to do it Monday afternoon. That's all good.
he's come he's coming to you from beautiful Tampa today.
Yes,
So and apparently we got a memo, so we both got on blue. So funny,
yep,
his is
yeah,
lighter than mine. But great to be on our show. Got a lot that's
yes.
happened this past week. I have been impressed. I have not been selling or not been selling. I have not been listing, selling similar, doing anything for the past 3 weeks, really, and yet I have closed out my month really well.
I know.
Really,
I'm
really
very
well.
jealous.
One today. I was coming
Nice. What'd you
home
sell?
from the store. I
Hmm.
sold a vest, a lady's old navy vest. I've had it for 2 years.
Nice.
I had listed it for 10.99, and I get an offer for $10, and I'm like,
Yeah.
sure. I looked at my wife and I was like, I don't understand this. What is 99 cents? And then I was reminded that ladies like to get a deal. And my
Hmm.
daughter said, it's girl math, Dad. She will now tell her husband 99 cents off. It was practically free.
Yeah.
So,
Good way to look at
what whatever. I was like $1 off.
it.
That's to me, it's $1. That's 10% off. Sure, I will take that all day long. In fact, Frugal Deals, one of my comments is we will take any reasonable offer. And I think 10% is reasonable. I don't have a problem with that. You give me 10% on anything, generally, I will take it right on the spot. Got a few items I probably wouldn't take it, but most things I would take it on the spot. What's the matter with your headphones? You can't quite hear me?
No, you hear you. I was just playing with it because they're new. So if I do this, it mutes it. You can't hear me, can you?
No, I can still hear you.
So you can hear me when I do that?
Yeah, loud and clear. It's nice.
What the hell? It's supposed to be muted.
It's
Cheap
not working.
damn thing. Hold on. Maybe I got the wrong.
What? We were talking about reselling. Is this one of those kind of moments?
Yeah,
We
that thing
leaning in
doesn't
to
work.
read.
I'm just saying.
Let's
I thought you got this new speaker thing. So you know that
folks.
Jabra speaker I got that I used to use? These are Jabra headphones. I think they sound really good.
It does sound really good. My question is, how many more microphones does the man need? I mean, you already got so many on your desk in Savannah that it's which one are we using? I'll just keep my trusty, dusty old whatever cheap mess this is, ladies and gentlemen. It's
Well,
made
I
like
tried that cheap mess, but it didn't work for me.
you put the
Yeah, I
wrong
bought
one.
no, I bought the actual one, the name and the number that you said, and it came missing an ear. I got screwed on that
Wow.
deal, and then it didn't work.
Yeah, yeah, because I gave you the number off the one I
Hmm.
bought. I don't know because mine's got both, and it works fine. I ain't had any problems with it.
Yeah, but
I
these are
will
really
say
nice.
this: they do look nice.
Hmm.
They do, and Jabra's a good name, so I bet they you sound good.
Yeah.
You look good. You ready to do this podcast?
Yeah, not really, but yes, I am. So I was thinking,
Hey,
let's talk about some reselling stuff this week. So, I
what I
mean,
was doing.
yeah.
Oh, Mike, you're listening. Would you come get Jefferson?
So that really doesn't mute because it says mute even in my ear, and it's not muting it. You can hear me still. Damn thing. All right.
Okay. Maybe it's a setting that you need to actually fix. I don't know. And it could be this program.
Yeah.
I've noticed that certain programs do certain different things with when you do stuff, or they don't allow stuff. So, yeah, you're muted right now. You actually are muted. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know how to mute myself. I just thought it'd be cool to be like, I got a cough. That didn't work.
Yeah. See, I can mute my. Then I mash this button here, and I'm back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. All
it's
right.
just
Well, that's exciting. But now we know how to mute each other or ourselves.
very, very exciting.
Hello. Welcome to Tech Talk. So you did some good reselling this week. That's awesome, man. I didn't. I thought after I sold 4 things, made $50, but I really wasn't trying very hard. So we'll see.
Now I'm very proud. I've grossed like $150 for the month of August. Which,
Yeah.
folks, if you think about my average, is I've had about 140 things listed the whole month. So that means I should have sold 14 items. I'm not sure exactly. I haven't looked up how many I sold, but I think I'm like at 148 or something like that. If we divide that by 5, that says 29. Now that's not accurate because I've sold some for a little bit more than that this time,
Yeah.
but I'm almost positive I'm right there around the 10 to 14 range. If you give me a minute and Benz wants to talk, I can try to see how many items I've actually sold.
Information. That seems like a lot of work. No, but my question is like, so let's, reselling. Let's give them some reselling tips. So, not enough tips, just ideas that we're working on, or ideas like sourcing. I mean, what is your thought
So
process about sourcing?
I've still the whole idea. I'm still not sourcing off of eBay. I know there's a lot of people that are still they dry and because I had a guy the other day contact me and he was like, "Hey, I'm looking interested in becoming an eBay reseller. I see that you've done pretty well. You've sold number whatever." He said, "So I'm just trying to ask a lot of people that are a little bit along, but not a." He's not trying to bother the guys at the top. And I'm like, "You
Yeah,
really
yeah,
should be talking to them." But
yeah,
I turned around. Hopefully, he's watching our channel here because I talked to him. I said, "Hey, go find CJ Benz Finds and Pocket Change and listen to those." And there's a whole array out there that you can listen to. I still listen to a lot of them. And there's this one guy that I caught the other day. I've never listened to him before, but his whole thing was drive a bargain, sell for a profit. And I think he's the one telling all these guys on eBay to shoot low bids
yeah.
because he's all about sourcing on eBay and doing 60% off offers.
Hmm.
And I'm like, and how much does that actually get you?
Yeah. That doesn't make
Number
any sense.
one,
But yeah, by the time
how
you pay the
many
shipping,
people, yeah, and how many people do you have to contact in a day to actually build any inventory?
true.
Are you going to offer 1,000 offers at 60% off in a day just to maybe get 10 items? And then what happens if all 1,000 decide to take you up on it? Are you now bankrupt?
Yeah,
This seems to me like a terrible way to do it. And I was just like, I should write something. I was like, nope, not going to do it because somebody will say something. One of his followers will troll me,
yeah,
get all upset because that's apparently his secret. I don't agree with that. I don't think sourcing on eBay is a good way to do it. And to be honest with you, if you're shooting people 60% off offers,
yeah. You're being a dick.
you're being a dick, and you're probably gonna get. It's a small community anyway, kind of like a lot of other places out there. Your name's gonna get around. You're not gonna get invited to the meetups or the picnic or the whatever you
Yeah,
want to
whatever.
call it. You're not gonna get invited to one of those. And if you do
But
show
hey,
up, they're gonna
everybody
be
can
like,
do it their
"Oh,
own
there's
way.
that."
What if it works for you? It works for you, right?
Right. Yeah, but I
So I
just
think
don't see
with
it working very
yeah,
well.
like that guy who's just starting out, start small. Start maybe begin with low cost items from thrift stores, garage sales, even look on clearance racks. This will
Well, that
minimize your
is
risk.
that's all that I can tell anybody because I have yet to find where you can really source good, solid, high dollar inventories? I don't know. I've not found that out yet. So
Yeah.
I'm still cheap guy. Get it for 50 cents or a dollar and sell it for 5 to 10, maybe
Yeah.
15 if I'm lucky. Once in a while, I'll come across something and I'll grab it. But I blew my whole budget last month on a watch that's not sold yet.
So yeah, look for undervalued items. I mean, when you go out, do your due diligence and look everything up. Don't just go, oh, it's only a quarter, I'll buy it, because that's what I do. And now I've got a whole storage unit full of stuff, right?
I would say, yeah, you want to look stuff up, but where do you go now? Yard sales are not as good as they were. I've been to a few. They're not as good as they once were 10 years ago, or at least not in
Well,
my area.
yeah,
Because,
yeah, okay. So the prices are a little higher, but 10 years ago, how much was a gallon of gas?
well, you got a point, but now that is one thing I'm finding on eBay, and I don't want to discourage anybody from doing this, but the profit margins have been squeezed a little bit. We're in that
Yeah.
where everybody's still wanting to get a deal. Of course they do, but we're in that where sellers are still selling lower. The average
Mm,
sale. So you take an item. I don't care. Let me pick something up. Let me grab something off here. Off my. Let's see if I got something. Okay. Okay. So here. I don't know if you can see this or not. It's a pocket watch chain. Now this is actually a flat link. Okay. This one, it's got the swivels on it, but it don't have an attachment on that end. So it's missing a piece. I'll have to repair it before I can sell it. But it's about a $15 pocket watch chain. To get this right now sourced, it used to cost me, I mean, usually it was included and I didn't pay anything for it.
yeah.
Now, if you're sourcing these, they'll cost you $3 to $4 a piece. And you list this for 15 and you'll sell it for 10. So you used to get it for next to, for nothing. They would give them away just to get rid of them. Now they've started selling, and so places are like, "Oh yeah, I can make a couple dollars off of them into a resale." And a lot of times now you'll see them for 8 to 10 bucks, and so I can't make any money off of it. And that's what I'm saying. So we've got to figure out a better place to actually source. I haven't tried estate sales. I don't know. Some guys are talking about they have good luck at that. I don't know. Have you sourced any estate sales yet?
Yeah, I've been to the state sales, but it's higher dollars. But you got to know what you're looking for, right? So, I mean, hey, Timu, pocket white chains, just like that, flat link, $1.52.
Yeah. So, but now is I'd have to measure that and see if that's a vintage one or if that's a, because that's another thing too, is a lot of your new
It's
ones
not
from like,
vintage. I mean,
yeah, that one might be. That's what I'm saying. So you know, the alloy on it. Who knows? I sell a lot more vintage than I do modern, but I even sell more modern than I do brand new ones. I've gotten some brand new ones, and I've noticed the brand new ones are not an alloy that's worth like literally. If you pull on them just like that, they will pop. Some of them links will pop apart. They're just a real soft. So that one on Temu is probably a real soft alloy.
I would think so.
But even in jewelry stores now, pocket watch chains are, if you find them in certain jewelry
Found
stores, still
one
some.
707 for five of them, two silver gray and three bronze. I wonder if they're any good for $7. Hmm.
And see, but see, that's the thing is a lot of people will buy it.
Yeah,
Now, serious collectors won't buy those, but still, because of those, we're being squeezed on eBay a
yeah.
little bit. So, you know, you need to be able to source properly. What is sourcing properly? Knowing number one, knowing what you're going after, knowing about what you're looking at. Because Ben's not both will tell you we've gotten taken before where we're like, yeah, that sounds like a good deal. And then you go home and you're like, oh, crap. That was not a good deal. I'll be lucky if I get back out of it what I got in it.
Hmm.
It happens. Indigenous art's definitely one of those that you can lose your shirt in real quick.
Nothing wrong with that. I don't care what you say.
He smiled a little bit. He's going to hang that over, put it beside his bed. All his indigenous art. Decorate his
I have
bedroom
to
with it.
keep it around. It's some pretty stuff, man. Yeah, some of it's a little freaky.
The folk art is what's really freaky. That gets a
Yeah,
little.
it is.
Oh.
Folk art looks like a 12-year-old made it. It's just crappy painting. It's like they don't know what they're doing.
But I also want to tell people don't be afraid to pull the trigger on some stuff you don't know either, because you take the paintings that I bought.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about those paintings. I didn't know the artist. Turns out she's a local artist that moved away. She's not painting anymore, and they're pretty sought after paintings, but I didn't know. And I was like, those would be cool to hang in my office one day, but I'll buy them, and if I sell them, if I don't, I'll hang them in my office because they're local art, regional. And I paid $5 a piece for them, basically, and went and picked them up. Sold one for $25 and sold another for 18 bucks.
But
But then because of shipping, I ended up making and clearing $73. So I've made $100 off of two of them and still got three. So
there you
you can
go.
go, okay, you've either A, paid $10 and made 10 times your money because you made that, or you factor them all in and say you paid 25 for all of them, you made $100, and so you've made 4 times your money and still got three left. Either way, it's still great.
Yeah,
And I didn't know nothing about this artist. I just thought they were some cool paintings.
that's cool.
And they are cool. They're really
Yeah, I got
cool
a bunch of
paintings.
art. I got to get it back relisted. I got a list. I mean, I was playing in the garage today. Actually, today
I'll
I
tell
spent
you,
the day doing honeydew list. I replaced two breakers in the breaker box because we got hit by lightning while I was gone, and she had no power in the bedroom, and there was no power in the garage. So I replaced the two breakers in the breaker box. And then the air conditioner, we kept having problems with it backing up. And so last night when I got home, like 1 o'clock in the morning, I went out there, and the drain spout that's outside. I thought it was the one on the side of the house. Well, there was one that I thought was for an old water softener system that's no longer here, which comes out of the ground and kind of went like this. So when I
mm-hmm.
was messing with it last night, I realized that this is still dry. Then I went over to where that was, and there was a little bit of water, and I realized that that is the air conditioning drip. It goes under the house and then up and like that. So so I dug all that out. I got it open, got the air conditioner running, and then today I went to the Home Depot and bought PVC, so I redid it.
You put a trap back on it.
Yeah, I put a trap on it. Yeah,
Okay,
but
I
it
just,
was crazy that now that got hit by a lawnmower like maybe a year and a half ago, and I assumed it was for that water softener. So I've had trouble with the air conditioner like twice, and I poured that slime shit down it that eats the slime, and it works. But I think the problem she was having the last 2 weeks, it's rained every day, so it probably never drained because of that.
couldn't drain. Yeah.
Now I was talking to some old guy there and explained to what I was doing. And 60s, he said, "Oh, that mine's been broken like 5 times because of the." He lives in a retirement community, and they take care of the lawn care, and they keep snapping it off. So what he did was he dug it like a foot deep because it comes out underneath the ground.
Mm-hmm.
He dug it a foot deep, put sand, about 6 inches of sand, and then filled it with rocks to the top. And so it drains all the time. And he says,
That's
I
not
just
a
take
bad.
it is a great idea. And I'm like, well, I don't know. You know how you hear something, you go, that seems like a good idea, but I'm just going to put the pipe back the way it was. So it's working good now. So, but here in Florida, you get that white slimy crap in the lines all the time. I said, well,
You
what do
can
you do
get that
about
here
that?
in North Carolina too.
Yeah. He says, I use I suck it out on the inside. Or what he does now, he says, since I put that sand in the stone, he says, I have about a 2 foot circle of stone. So he just puts a cup of bleach down his line once a month. But so he doesn't worry about because if I did that, it would kill all the grass right there. But he's
Mm-hmm.
like,
No, you wouldn't have to
you
do
go,
that.
yeah, you go to Home Depot and 90% of the time you meet people that you ask questions or Lowe's or anywhere, not Home Depot specifically. They have no idea what they're talking about. This guy was Johnny on the spot. I was like, man, you're the perfect guy to talk to.
Some of them no. Like when I went and worked for Home Depot, I had been an electrician and HVAC guy already for 3 years.
Yeah.
So I was like, but now I did get, the only big write up I ever got was at Home Depot. Because I told a guy, be my guest, send me a picture. And he was like, of what? After he'd been a jerk to me. And I said, when your house burns down, I'd like to see a picture of it. And he went and reported me because he wouldn't listen to me because he thought he knew more than I did. So he was not going to put in a transfer switch. He was not going to put in a transfer switch on his generator. Instead, he was just going to breaker it. And
No.
I'm like, I do not recommend that because once your power comes back on,
Hmm.
and he was like, oh, I'm not spending that kind of money. And I was like, then do what you want. Send me a picture. But anyway, so
Back to reselling. So
yeah.
sourcing. We're talking about sourcing. Sorry, we got off on a tangent, but had my
Well, now,
honeydews. Got my honeydews done.
yeah, but there's a good place to source. Believe it or not, the clearance side of Home Depot, Lowe's, it depends
Oh
on what
yeah.
you're selling. Any store, as long as you know what you're doing and you go, okay, so this is a clearance item here. Has it already hit eBay yet? Now, I will tell you, if you buy a clearance item, you want to make sure you get it listed quick
Yeah.
because once it officially hits the clearance side,
Yes.
you're not going to make
I
any
mean, there
money.
are things though you can find there that are marked down extremely. They're just knocking them out, getting rid of them. Might take you a little while for everybody else to run through the inventory, but I've made money on things like that.
Well, I can tell
So
you one of the things at Home Depot that makes good money that I've not dealt with, but I've noticed it makes good money. Every year, I think it's around like probably around January, every Home Depot store puts on sale the little wood kits, the little derby car
birdhouse and stuff.
kits
Yeah.
and birdhouse kits and all that. They put it on sale just because they're wanting to get rid of that inventory and get rid of that inventory space because they're going to get a bunch more in the spring.
Yeah.
So if you buy in January, and I've seen guys go in and I know what they're doing because they'll go in and they'll buy the whole rack for 250.
Yeah.
And what it is, once it hits spring again, they're going to list them at the same time Home Depot puts in their new
Really
ones,
puts
and
them
they're
up.
going to list
Yep.
them. They're going to put them up like $10 to $15.
Yeah.
You can do things like that. You just got to know what you're doing. I don't. I don't have a line for that, so I'm not doing that. But
Well, yeah.
sourcing
I
can
mean,
be it can be anywhere.
yeah. Yeah. So great places. I think you know where to hunt, right? So where do you look? Thrift stores are good, usually overpriced, but if it's like Goodwill or Salvation Army, but look around for local thrift stores, church thrift stores, small thrift stores. I've got a couple of small thrift stores. I know of one thrift store where a guy owns it, and I'm not, it's not tied to anything. He always has good deals there. So I got a couple of places I like to go. Estate sales are good, like you were talking about. You're going to pay up at estate sales on day one, and day two they go down a little. The ones here do like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. On day one, if you go on a Friday, or you need to look for things that are undervalued or stuff that has a high sell-through rate that other people are going to pick up. I find I like to go to them on Sunday when they're 50 to 60% off and get the leftovers. I think you can find some really good stuff that way.
What do you
Flea
think about the
markets.
Amazon stores?
The Amazon stores, I know people that make a full living off of Amazon stores, but you got to be specific. There's my friend Rocky Top Picker. He's going and buying boxes at a place in, I think it's Knoxville. I'm not sure where, somewhere in Tennessee. He pays $45 for a box. He hasn't got a box yet that he wasn't going to make money on. He has gotten boxes where he's made lots of money, but there's a lot of boxes he pays $45 for that he ends up, with like $150 worth of stuff. But it takes a while to sell though. There's other boxes he's gotten where he's gotten $1,000 worth of stuff in the box. So, you know,
Now
those are hit or miss.
you're talking about buying the crates from Amazon, right? Or are you talking about like we have this store in our
No,
area?
no,
I've
it's an
been wanting to check
Amazon.
it out.
That place is an Amazon returns, but they don't. It's not like there's the bin stores for Amazon returns where they unload the trucks, say on Wednesday or Thursday or whatever it is, and then day one's 10, and then it's 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, or whatever, and then they
Yeah.
refresh it the next week. I think with those going day one, Be very selective of what you pick up, but you can make money with that stuff. But if you go on the last day, there might be something there you pick up for $2 that sells for 20. So I I don't know. I haven't done any of that. I've gone to the Goodwill bins. I think it's a great place to source.
I've been of the
Well, that one
Amazon
near
store
you is
because
one of the nicest ones I ever went to. So,
well, now that's a Goodwill Bins. I'm talking about the Amazon Bins store that's down close to me. They do exactly what you're talking about. It's X number of dollars each day, but
yeah.
they've gotten to where they've got a sign on the door that says no cell phones.
Well, then screw that place.
And I'm
Yeah.
going, yeah. See, they don't want you coming in there with your thing and being able to take pictures and see if it's worth anything. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go in there and just pick through and go, oh, okay, end up spending too much money.
Well,
That's
that,
what
that
they want you
lady,
to do.
that lady, the dessert sellers. That's all she mainly does, right? When you watch her videos, she's doing pretty good.
Yeah, she goes to Amazon stores and she goes to
Hmm.
church yard sales. But now she's in
That is
California
the
where
yeah,
churches have yard sales like year round. They're depending on where you're at, folks.
yeah.
I mean,
Mine's getting ready to kick up. I mean, in September is when in Florida yard sales really start.
yeah.
It's finally cool enough that you can actually do it. Yard
See,
sales, I
ours
think, are the
usually
best
dies in
place to
September.
find. Yeah, you're the opposite. So it gets cold there. That's why everybody who lives where you live come to Florida for September, October, November, December, January, February, and then they go back up there after it quits being snowy and cold. So I mean,
Because they like to sweat all the time and have sweat dripping down the crack of their butt all the time. That's just what they enjoy.
I like a wet ass. What are we talking about? Sorry, lost
That's
there
why
for a minute.
you're in Savannah right now.
Exactly. That's some sweaty ass place. Yeah. So, know where to hunt. Thrift stores, I think, are good. Estate sales are good. But, get to know the estate sale companies right here in Florida. There's like six of them that I see often. There's two of them I never go to if it's that specific estate sale company because they overprice. And I think they, in my opinion, one of them has a storefront. So I think what they do is they cherry pick. So be careful with
Mm,
estate sales. There's a lot of flea markets in Florida. I've done it flea markets a few times. If you're going to a flea market and you're trying to resell, stay away from the vendors that are there every week and look at the back end of it. Usually there's tables where people show up and set up. This weekend, and I'm not going to because I was busy, but Memorial Day weekend, that's where we are. Labor Day weekend and Memorial Day are two
Labor
of the
Day.
biggest. Yeah, we're on Labor Day, but it is a good time to go to the yard sales or the flea markets because a lot of people will set up for that because they're off on Monday, so they'll go there and sell their stuff like it's a garage sale, but they'll do it at a bigger scale. Outlet stores. If you are somewhere that there's an outlet market, like when I lived in California, near me, there was a huge outlet place, and I used to buy my jeans there. I didn't resell when I was in California, but I can look back on that, and they would have like you know name brand outlets in there, and then they would have clearance on their stuff they had. If I was thinking about selling clothes, I might try that. Liquidators, they're out there, and even I've found kind of a gold mine on Facebook Marketplace. But
Really?
if you're doing Facebook Market, I found those Hot Wheels cars. I paid $250 for 500 Hot Wheels cars from a guy that just was getting rid of his collection. I made the $250 back in like 2 days, selling the best of them. But all the other ones that I have no money in now because I probably made $1,000 off of that, and I still have probably 250 of the 200 of the 250 left, and they sell slowly for like 395, 695. I probably should lot them up and sell them to someone else and be done with it. But in there, he had 12 of these Tesla pickup truck cars, and there was one other car. I forget
Cybertruck.
what it was. Yeah, Cybertruck cars. Those sold for like $25 a piece. So I made all my money back
Wow.
like in no time from that buy.
Wow.
Things like that, right? Right now I do Facebook Marketplace. I haven't listed any of the books, but I found somebody in Savannah on Facebook Marketplace. They used to sell books on eBay. They moved they were in Florida, Lakeland actually, and then moved up there. They took 3 truckloads of books up there, but never, like 10 years ago. So in those books, some of them are good, some of them aren't. But he was selling a box of books, like 12 by 18 by 24 box of the books for $4. Every one of those books, in there were worth there were some that weren't worth anything. I threw them away. But out of every $4 box, I at least got $250 worth of stuff I can list. I haven't listed it because I'm lazy. But Facebook Marketplace is a
Well,
place where you
you're
can find
busy.
stuff. Yeah, I'm busy.
I mean, that's probably the biggest thing.
And that,
Let's
yeah,
transition from sourcing because we can beat sourcing to death, folks. There's plenty of places you can source. There's places I would stay away from Goodwill right now.
yeah,
Even shopgoodwill.com, the stores, the bins, I would stay away because they've gotten crazy. You'll find one or two, but is it worth it to go there? Probably not. I've
yeah,
stopped. I
yeah.
don't even check them anymore because they just gotten
Shop
so
Goodwill,
high.
yeah. I'm banned to get on
Um,
Shop Goodwill. All right. It
you're
happened.
banned again.
Yeah. Because I was buying stuff from the Savannah Shop Goodwill, which is in Pooler, which is like right where I was living. I bought stuff. I went and picked it up. And then I ended up buying like 10 things. And when I went to go, because you can combine up to 20 pounds, I went to the mall and went to go pay. It says, oh, these can't be combined. I'm like, what? No, I'm going to pick them up. But that place decided you can't pick up there anymore. I'm like, well, you can't just change your policies. So I just had to let all that go. Well, you don't pay for 10 things, they're going to ban you. But with Shop Goodwill, you really should shop local and be able to pick it up. The shipping is what kills you on Shop Goodwill. If you can't pick
Yeah.
it up, I wouldn't do it.
And the cost of items now, it's gotten absolutely astronomically crazy. But the big thing about it, folks, and what I'm learning is it comes back to one major thing. I've done well for the month of August, not doing anything but letting it auto renew.
Yeah.
So
So,
here's what I'm
hey,
going to tell
so
you. I think there's a baseline that you're going to sell. If you've got decent items and you've got quite a few items, you're going to sell a baseline of around, I'm going to say 7 to 10% of your items every month, regardless. If you've got items people want. Now, if you've got stuff that is below a 3% resale ratio, I don't know.
you're waiting on the right person for that. I have stuff
Yeah.
like that. Some of the car parts I have horrible, horrible sell through rates. It's something that somebody really needs to have, and they're looking for it, and that ends up selling eventually because eventually somebody needs that part for their car.
You got a lot of NOS, so it's not like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a item that everybody needs every day, but somebody doing a car is going to need it.
exactly.
And they're going to pay more for it because they
Yeah,
need it.
and yeah, because and some of the things I
But
have, they don't make anymore. So I bought out a trailer or a storage unit. Out of that, this week I sold a high impact socket for $15. That basically my cost was about 5 cents. So that's kind of cool. When you buy something for about a nickel and sell it for $15, even if it takes you 13 years to sell it, like I'm in, I'm good. It wasn't, but that was like a year and a half ago. But the rest of them will probably take 15 years to sell. All right, so moving on to the next thing I think we should probably talk about reselling, research and pricing. What do you do? How do you do your researching, and how do you come up with your prices?
depends on what I'm selling. It really does. It depends on what I'm selling. So if I'm selling a pocket watch chain or a pocket watch or something like that, I'm going to see
Mm-hmm.
what it sells for on eBay similar. I'm going to look at that and I'm going to price somewhere in the middle.
Right.
But like all the stuff that I've got hanging behind me, I actually go to the retail outlet because what's stupid is I can grab one of those items, one of those sockets, one of those extensions or something off of my thing, bring it and check it and look at it, and I'm like, wait a minute. It's coming up with a barcode that the average sale on eBay for this is $15.99, but it's priced $7.99 on Napa.
Yeah.
I don't price it $15.99 because I'm just, and maybe that's wrong of me, but I'm like, why would anybody pay? And you'll go and there was one item sold for
Yeah.
fifteen
So
ninety nine.
I can tell you right now, those most sockets, car parts, and that kind of stuff, what I get into, have free shipping. So $15.99 is probably the sale price with free shipping. So $7.99 and $7 shipping,
Yeah,
$15.99.
and I don't do it that way. What I do is I do a standard rate shipping depending upon where it falls, and I price it at what Napa has it at because I'm like, number one, I just don't. I'm not going to do the free shipping. Maybe I should reprice them and do the free on them.
No,
Maybe that.
I
Maybe
don't do
that's the
free
gimmick.
shipping either. That is a gimmick,
Maybe that's
but I don't know. There's people that'll spend more for an item if the shipping's free. But you proved this week that you sold a $17 painting and somebody paid $103 for shipping because they wanted it, right?
112.
112, right?
112.
So that's awesome. That's crazy. So I do think, research and pricing, check the sold listings. That's the first place I go. Probably you too, because you went on, talked about the
Yep.
sold listings, and they said, oh, wait a minute, this is what Napa does. So you're trying to stay competitive, right?
I'm trying to stay competitive
Also,
because and again, it depends on what you're selling. Depends on what
right.
you're selling. If I'm selling a George shirt, because I get those, I'll find those time to time. I got them. They got tags on them. Okay, but that's a Walmart brand. I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
going to
not your,
sell them for. And here's the thing too. I can tell you, George, he doesn't sell as well on eBay as he does at Walmart. So you can't go
yeah,
price it at Walmart. You say price it the same as Walmart. No, you can't. It doesn't sell as good, even with a tag on it. I don't know why, but he doesn't. So you have to look at sold comps. You have to look at retail outlets and gauge what you think it's going to be at.
I agree. I agree. That makes sense. I think also know the seasonal demand. You just sold a vest. Was a winter vest,
It's a fall vest.
right? We're getting ready to get into fall, right? So someone's like, "Oh, I need a vest." So that vest sold now because someone needed it. Also, keep an eye on the items. If you get something and it's Halloween, and that's what it sells for at Halloween, it probably sells for less other parts of the year. So be cognizant of seasonal demand, right? Certain things sell better
And speaking of
at
that, it's interesting
specific
you bring that
times.
up. That's an excellent way to source things is decorations or stuff after the holiday. All except folks, Hobby Lobby. Do not source after holiday decorations at Hobby Lobby. Everything I've got from Hobby Lobby does not sell.
Right. Yeah, I find, and I bought before from like the Rite Aid after so they'll have like floaties and stuff, and I'm getting ready to go buy them here now that because I'm in Florida, now that the summer's gone, they'll take all their floaties, whatever they were selling, and knock them down 80% off. And you might get something that sells for $20 for $4, but you're going to have to hold it until that comes around again. You might list it and get lucky because somebody who's in a opposite part of the world might want that now. But after every season is when you should go to those places and look for the previous season's stuff marked down.
Here's what I'm going to tell you that I found out about Hobby Lobby and Harbor Freight. Okay. So if you've ever dealt with Harbor Freight, and this goes back to sourcing, this goes back to pricing, it's the whole inclusive. So if we really talk about it, okay, so if you ever dealt with Harbor Freight and you get their catalog, it'll say item number and it'll have 4 or 5, maybe 6, maybe 8 item numbers out there.
Mm-hmm.
Those item numbers are getting the reason they've got that is because it includes dead ones. And what I mean by that is Hobby Lobby does the same thing. So I've got some stuff in there that I was like, oh, this would be great. It's marked down. I'll buy it and I'll list it when it comes back off of clearance. No. Here's what they do. Here's what Harbor Freight and Hobby Lobby both do this. They will bring back in the same item, give it a different item number. The barcode that you scan or how you list it on eBay will trace back to the clearance item if somebody's looking at it. Because you got to remember, people research stuff. So they'll come back and go, oh, you're trying to gouge me. Because they'll make it just a little different or just a little something and change one number and item number. And now the new item number and the new item is
Yeah,
1999. The item you've got is recorded as recently sold for $2.50, and you're trying to get
yeah,
19.99 out of it.
yeah.
So Harbor Freight and Hobby Lobby are terrible for doing that. So anything you buy Halloween decorations or Christmas decorations at Hobby Lobby the day after and it's on sale, go ahead and forget it. It's not going to, it just, so not a good place to source.
Don't if you're
And
gonna list it, don't list it with that SKU on it. Make your own description.
right.
Another thing with pricing, in my opinion, is undercut strategically, right? If somebody else is selling, if you get an item that has a lot of items listed, you know what? Make your money, move the item faster while you're still making a profit. So if you get something that has a lot of competition, price yourself on the low end so that way you sell yours first. So if there's 100 of an item listed and 50 is sold in the last 90 days, you don't have a great, you got a good sell through rate, but if you put yourself at the bottom of the market, you're going to be one of the 50 that sells in the next 90 days. Is my thought process.
Unless it's a rare item. You and I, back when we
No,
used to pick trash,
I'm
we'd
talking
come across
items that
these
are
items.
competitive. Yeah,
Yeah. We come across these items and we'd be like, this has a 0% sell through ratio because there's
right.
nothing else like it. So, how do
Yeah,
you price in those instances? You start out at 10% what you paid for. This is what Ben's told me. You start out at 10% what you paid for it and be willing to drop every month till it goes bye bye. I mean, because eventually you got to get rid of it and hope you break even. I
exactly.
mean,
And
but
that's my new plan coming forward. When I get back to selling for full time, is this is what I want $100 for it. And after it's been here 6 months, I'm going to go 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40. And if it doesn't sell for $40, I'm going to try to sell it on live selling, which I'm going to start here at some point. I keep talking about, never do. But
well, I
the other
think
thing
you
you
got to
need
get
to
back where
really,
you're at, right?
yeah,
I
I
think
got to
I,
get back
I
there.
think you got to get to Tampa to be able to do it on the weekends, or
Yeah,
you've got to get it someplace in Savannah where you can do it.
yeah,
'Cause right now, living out of this small apartment, you're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to
I
be able to do the
agree.
live selling. So either you got to be able to come home to Tampa every weekend and get there on the weekends and be able to do it and do your live selling on Saturdays,
Yeah, I've been home three
or
weekends in a row, and I realized I didn't take into consideration laundry. So now I'm washing the three work shirts I have here and some pants, and I'm taking it back with me. But I need to make sure I'm figuring that out. That has nothing to do with this. So the last thing I have in research and pricing is factor in all your costs, people. You know what? Your account fee for eBay costs you something. I'm on the 10,000 items, so it costs me $60 a month. If I sell 100 items, that's 60 cents an item. Keep that in mind. Your eBay fees, your shipping supplies, your labels, all that stuff. Make sure you're taking that into consideration. That way it doesn't eat into your profit and unknowingly now you're selling stuff for less. So make sure you're accounting for all your costs.
just on a side note, I got rid of all those U.S. Postal Service boxes that I ordered long. Folks, when I first started in this, if you're just now following this, when I first started, Ben's was like, go to the USPS.com and order you a bunch of priority mailers because priority was the way that everything pretty much got shipped was priority mail
Yeah,
through
back
U.S.
then.
Postal Service. And then all of a sudden, U.S. Postal Service introduced their Ground Advantage, and all the materials that I had over ordered because I was like, oh, I need one box here and one box. And so I need 10 of those boxes. And it was 10 packs of 10.
Yeah, that was great. You had so
So
many boxes.
it stacked this high in the corner. I finally got rid of all those. I threw them
Yeah,
in the dumpster over, or threw them in the trash over time. And my wife was like, should we throw these away or should you take them? I said, I messaged Postal Service. They won't come back and pick them up. And I was like, I'm not driving them in my truck out to them. It didn't cost me anything. So guess what? Trash. It didn't cost my retirement fund. So U.S.
yeah.
Postal Service, if you're listening, it might be best if you go pick them back up from people.
But most people don't see 10, you know, 10, about a bulk of 10 being one, and they don't order 100 instead of 10. Just saying.
But I did, and I would have used them had they never come out with Ground Advantage. I probably would have used them
Yeah,
up by now. But
exactly. And at the time when you first started, I was sending a lot of priority. It just became,
that has
it
died.
was cheaper. Like, the priority flat rate box and the flat rate envelope was cheaper than sending it UPS. But when they brought out Ground Advantage, it just changed the whole game. I agree.
Now, I am going to say this: don't send anything fragile USPS Ground Advantage. If it's fragile, USPS Ground Advantage is like Delta Airlines used to be.
Yeah.
They're not kind to your stuff. If you stamp it fragile or fragile from my favorite movie,
Agility,
I
it's
think they
French.
run over it on purpose. But I send all my artwork USPS.
Yeah. You don't
UPS.
say,
UPS.
yeah, I was going to say,
I
what?
send it
The
I
UPS.
send it UPS ups
Yeah.
instead of USPS.
I do the
It's
same
kind
thing because they definitely do a better job of getting fragile stuff to its end destination.
but we'll let you know.
Okay. You ready
A
for
lot of
another
information
topic?
tonight.
I know.
Sure.
This is Reselling 107.
Oh,
101 was a while back, so we're at 107. But
101 and a half.
101.3, efficiency and scaling. So you're moving along, everything's going good. What do you do to go from selling $90 a profit a week to 900? Well, how do you do that? Neither one of us have done that yet, but what's your thought process on that?
I think there's two ways to do it.
There you
Either
go.
grow larger, which is kind of what I've been doing because I started out my first few months, man, if I made $30 a month, I was like, "Woohoo,
Yeah.
$30. Yay." Um and I sell more than that now. So you either grow larger, grow more inventory, get more inventory on there, or you increase your value of what you're selling,
Hmm.
or a mixture of both. And I've gone with both. I've increased inventory, I've increased value. I've still got items that are worth $3 and some items that are worth $200. So,
I
I
agree with
mean,
you. Yeah.
now my $200 items are a lot less than my dollar items, of course.
Yeah.
And I still won't turn down a free donation. If you want to bring me stuff and just drop it off, I will go through it and list everything I can list out of it
Yep.
and sell it because my thing is, hey, if I got it for free and it's $3, it's still $3.
Yeah. I agree.
Um,
I think make a
which I
system,
shouldn't do
right?
that. I
I
do
think you
that.
should. I think to scale, before you can efficiently scale, you need to create systems like inventory tracking, cost tracking, maybe get a spreadsheet or notebook, whatever works for you, to follow, hey, I paid this and I made that. So understand your numbers.
I don't know.
Also,
I was real anal about that to start with.
mhm, I always thought
Like
you were,
you remember my
Yeah, I remember
yeah
your wife made that spreadsheet. Yes.
it was a real fancy spreadsheet and everything, and it was awesome. I've stopped doing that
Yeah, me
because
too. I don't do that.
what happened last year was I didn't make enough for it to
Yeah.
be concerning for tax purposes or anything. And even though I claimed it or whatever,
Hmm.
it was not enough to make a dent on anything. It didn't cost me anything. So I think until you get to where you are around the $6,000 a year, 5,000 and up, that's when you really if you're hitting if you're gonna hit if you're on track to hit $5,000, you need to make sure you've kept up with everything.
Yeah,
Right now, I'm in. Last year, I made like 32. I think is what I made, which was pretty good, but it's not. That's for the year. I know you did better than that, but I made like 3,200 for the year, and I'm gonna do a little better this year, but I'm still not gonna hit over the 5,000 because I've lost a few months.
yeah. This year I've
Um,
done much worse than last year because I moved and did all that. But last year I did get the you had to sell $20,000 to get your thing. I definitely got my thing. I ended up selling like 30 grand last year. So I probably should have kept with that
nice.
and not moved. But I definitely you need to have some things in place. But the way I do my inventory is cost in, cost out. So if I bought $500 worth of stuff, I just put that in as an expense and working with an accountant. But then I had to carry the inventory into the next year. So I'm not an accountant. Don't take any accounting information from me or this young man. We are
Me
not
either.
accountants.
I'm not
Yeah,
an
but
accountant.
I agree. Time is money, right? Don't waste your time on $2 profit items. Focus on higher margin goods. Once you start getting efficient and scaling. In the beginning, $2 items, hey, at least you're selling something. You're getting some feedback. Worth your time. That's my thought process.
Didn't you the feedback thing?
The feedback thing is
They're
changing.
gonna be changing that here in the
September
next,
3rd.
which is going to be, you and I said we was going to talk about that. Maybe we should talk about that a little bit. It's been so hard to get feedback. You're like begging for feedback.
Yeah,
And for a while there, I was getting like 1 out of 5. Ben's was getting like 1 out of 10
yeah.
because he didn't beg for it like I did. I begged and pleaded and begged, was like, please leave me feedback, please. Hey, did I do everything perfect for you? Can I get
Yeah.
some feedback, please? Ben's was like,
Please,
leave me.
I'm so special. Yeah, leave me
Ben's was
feedback
like,
or not.
leave
I
me
don't give it.
feedback or don't. You know,
Yeah.
but and Ben's is very nice. He will leave you feedback. I don't leave you feedback. If you
I
buy
leave
from me,
everybody feedback, and I think that's why I get the feedback. But
I don't
the
leave you feedback unless you leave me feedback. Because I
yeah,
got
the
tired
thing
of leaving you
about
feedback and them stiffing me.
the eBay change, you done talking over me? Damn it, I'm trying to talk to you.
No, I'm still gonna rant.
I know, I know. You're like leave me feedback, or I don't give a shit. Ah. But the thing that's changing is a couple things around feedback, right? I do free returns because if you pay for the returns in the past, up until September 3rd of this year, if someone left you bad feedback and you paid for the shipping label to come back to you, then the feedback was taken away. As soon as they printed that label to send it back to you, feedback went away, negative feedback went away, or positive feedback, whatever feedback they left you. But now with the new system, that doesn't work. So by paying for returns, all you're doing is paying for returns. I only did that because I wanted to, if I got a negative feedback, and honestly, I never got a negative feedback for it to matter. So, not because I'm special, just because that's the way it worked out. But I'm going to stop paying for return labels. And still, to be top rated and top rated plus, one of the things is you have to offer returns. You do not have to offer paid returns, you just have to offer returns. But before, if you offered paid returns, if you got a negative feedback, it would go away. So I'm probably going to change my store policy to just offer returns. The other thing that's changing, there's like 4 or 5 things. But the other thing that matters to me is I think after 15 days, and I could be wrong on this, but after a certain time, if they don't leave you feedback, it will automatically leave you positive feedback. Now, our disagreement is I think that if the system just starts leaving automatic positive feedback, then feedback is much less important. What's your thoughts?
I don't think it's less important because obviously, if they haven't, let's face it, in a day and age where everybody complains about their toenail, they get a hangnail and it's a complaint. You go read reviews anywhere on Google. I don't even look at Google reviews anymore. I used to. I really don't because it's hard for you to get positive reviews on Google because everybody goes, "Oh, I'm going to leave you a bad Google review." And I think we've gotten to a world where we're desensitized to it now somewhat. So I don't know if it's 14 days and you haven't left feedback, it's probably because everything was fine and you're just lazy or don't care or about the seller or whatever.
True.
Why
I think
should I
that is
worry about?
most of it.
So why should I care how your business goes? I got my item, everything worked out fine.
Yeah.
And so I actually applaud that because by now I would be well over, I would have my next color star if it was that way. But I don't because
It's
people are
not
like, I
that
don't
way.
care. Yeah. So I don't think it does anything bad. Like you're saying, it doesn't make it as good or it's not as important. I think actually you can still count on it. In fact, I think you can count on eBay feedback much better than you can on even Google's reviews because Google, there again, the only people that go leave anything on Google are people who are mad.
Yeah.
They're mad about something. So if you think about it, it doesn't. I don't. To me, it doesn't lessen eBay's feedback. It actually helps it, in my opinion, because you got people who just refuse. Of course, you could say because it's now leaving it, and it wasn't good enough for them to want to get off their butt and go leave you some feedback. Then yeah, maybe it does lessen it a little bit. But I think it actually makes it better because if it was going to be negative,
You'd
I
have
can
been
tell
there.
you. Okay, so if we look at Benz's right now, he's got three neutral and one negative. He's at 99.6% positive feedback. But he does have three neutral. Item sent not from description. Seller refunded in full. I don't know why that would be neutral. That would be positive if I was leaving it. Seller was late in sending the item and arrived late, and all my work was delayed. Well, that's that one butthole you talked
That's
about
that
a
guy
while
that
back.
lied. He bought it on the slow boat to China and expected it in three
Yeah.
days. But I tried to get that
Watch
removed. I could not.
watch it is because he left neutral. Watch is nice, but it's very small. A pendant watch, not a pocket watch. Those are neutral. That's the only three he's got. So what I'm saying
And
is these
that
guys,
watch, the dimensions were in there on a. They knew what size it was when they bought it.
right?
So
But
yeah,
these are people. So what I'm saying is that's neutral. You do have one negative. I'm not going to spend time reading it, but my
what
thing
is my
is,
negative? I
if
don't
it's
know my negative.
if it's bad, yeah, you've got a negative. You
Yeah, I
know,
don't know what it is.
it was on Grand Theft Auto PlayStation game. Disc came scratched to the point
Yeah,
where it would load only the first cutscene and then get stuck.
yeah, and
But it's,
that's a yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't didn't
I
test
mean,
it. I just sold it. So that's fine.
yeah.
I told him I'm
So,
sorry. I paid him back his money.
but that's the thing. You possibly could have gotten that one removed. I don't know. But here's the thing: it's you still got a 99.6% rating, so that's still great. My thing is, even with eBay doing this automatic positive after 14 days, if somebody's mad about something, they're gonna go leave you bad feedback. They're just gonna do it.
No, I
If they're
agree.
upset,
And
I mean,
if you're now getting free feedback for all those items that you sold that no one ever left feedback, my percentage would be much higher because there was a lot of people that never left me feedback. So
right. And the other thing is, if you're getting bad, you're gonna get bad still.
yeah,
I think it
exactly.
was. I think what it's going to make people. I think it's actually going to give a more truer rating of how you're actually doing as a store.
Yeah.
I mean,
All
let's
right. So other
face it.
things that I thought about effective efficiency and scaling, right? Two other things that I think might have some weight. Think about them. My thought process, right? Reinvest your profits. Roll your earnings into sourcing better, higher value items, just like you're doing with the watches,
I think you have to
right?
do that.
Yeah. You can go from $10 to $25 by buying better stuff, and niche down. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but if you find something that you're really good at selling and really good and knowledgeable about, whether it's shoes, tools, toys, you with the pocket watches, I mean, if you start trying to sell more of that, I think you'll be better off. The problem is finding more of that. It all depends on how you're selling and where you're sourcing.
Well, and I think that is absolutely the case because here's the thing. Okay, let's say that I wanted to niche into pocket watches. That's a very hard thing to niche into. So if you want to niche, you need to find something that you can niche into. Pocket watches is difficult. Here's why. You can go to a Chinese manufacturer and you can spend 5 grand and get 200,000 pocket watches delivered to your door.
I'm in
Those
if I can get
pocket
two hundred
watches,
thousand.
and you can do it, and you're gonna pay if you're paying 10,000, $15,000 for them. You can make a small profit off of them, like a dollar
Mm-hmm.
to $2 off each one, and you'll sell a bunch of them because you're selling so cheap.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that's not really where you make your money. Where you make your money on like pocket watches is the old vintage pocket watches, and those are not available everywhere all the time, every day. So
Sure.
to niche into something like that, you really got to be constantly on the hunt and you're not going to find them. And you're up against other resellers on stuff like that. So my thing is if you're going to niche into something, when you had the opportunity, I think one of the major opportunities you had, you no longer have it, but you had to niche in was belt buckles when you could get that one person who was, they were already bringing them into the country and you could buy them from them wholesale and sell them on eBay. They're out of
Mm-hmm.
business now.
Yeah.
So could you do that? Yeah, you probably could, but that's the same, again, the same thing as pocket watches. Because now you're going to have to go source them out of the country. You're going to have to buy 5, 10,000 of them.
Yeah. I've got
You
like
know,
4,000 that I haven't listed, so I just need to list them
I
because
mean,
when they went out of business, I bought all their inventory, and I
but you
just
see what I'm saying?
it's,
Because now to
yeah, no, I
now to
agree.
niche into that because it's not available every day. But you've even said yourself, the ones you make the most money off of are
It
the
wasn't
old
those. Yes.
vintage
Mhm.
American made or whatever belt buckles that were
Exactly.
so.
So a mindset, right? That's the last point I want to make is what you're talking about is mindset. You got to get your mind set around doing a specific thing or your thought process, right? You know,
I
patient
wanted
pays
to
off
niche and
in
it didn't
my
work.
thought. What?
I wanted to niche and it didn't work.
Well, it didn't work because your availability of finding enough of that item wasn't there. If you can
Right.
niche into something you have a lot of, then and you can get readily, I think it does work.
I'll tell you
I
right
think
now,
then you became
if
the
you are
place to
by
come find it.
trade,
Hmm.
I will tell you right now, if you are by trade smart enough or are, if you're smart enough to do it, great. If you are some type of electrical engineer guy and
Hmm.
you because you can get the batteries to build them real cheap, but if you can rebuild these
Hmm.
cordless drill and battery packs and stuff like that and sell them, because you can get these really, you can find them anywhere. Tell people you
Yeah.
want them when they're done with them, and you know how to rebuild them. You can sell these for a primo dollar. I'm not smart enough to do it, but because
Yeah.
I thought
So
about it, I'm not smart
my
enough to do
thought
it.
about my thought about mindset is patient pays off. Patience pays off. You know, sometimes items take a long time to sell, so don't panic and slash your prices too quickly. I've done that in the past. Like, oh, I probably should take more off of it. So, stay flexible. Trends shift, man. Keep your eye out. If you're niched down into pocket watches and all of a sudden no one wants pocket watches and they want wrist watches, move on to that. Try to find out what's going, what the trends are today, tomorrow, the next day.
Here's my argument against niching because I was all about niching, and you consistently made more money than me.
Oh yeah, I agree. But I also had 10,000. I also had 4,000 items listed versus your 100.
But ratio
Loss is
wise, you
always going to out. Ratio wise, I don't think I was beating you. If we think
yeah,
about it,
you were beating me ratio
maybe,
wise.
but small. Yeah, I'm
No,
just saying.
here's what I figured out. Here's what I figured out. So Walmart and Target, roses. Big Lots before they went out of business. Everybody sold belts.
Yeah.
Wilson's Leather sold belts, and in fact, that was one
Mhm.
of their biggest things. Wilson's Leather's out of business now. Walmart and Target's not. And so what I realized, guys, if you want to do niche, I'm not going to tell you don't do it. I'm going to tell you be careful about what you pick. But what I realized looking and crunching the numbers, my store against Benz's, even ratio wise, was Benz. And I know Benz is trying to, and I'm trying to talk him out because he's wanting to niche real hardcore now. And I'm like, no, dude, because one of the things that has saved you is you have been the Walmart guy. You've
Well,
got a little bit of everything.
yeah, I'm 3 years away from trying to niche down because I got to list all the crap I have. But the main thing with the mindset I'm thinking is have fun with it. Enjoy what you're doing, man. Make sure that you're treating this like a treasure hunt and you're finding great things to resell. If if you decide to niche down to springs for pens and you can get them for a penny and some for $5 and you don't give a crap about it, you're going to end up getting washed out and leave, right? So I think find what you love to do and do it. Just
Well,
say,
that's true. I do
if
love
you love
pocket
your
watches.
job, you never work a day in life. Bullshit. I've been sweaty and hurting because even in a job I love, I was not that excited about. So, all right, that
Well,
was. I thought we talked through that. I
let's
think we did good in reselling
let's
ideas for
face it.
you guys out there.
We're men. We're definitely not getting paid for what we'd love to be getting paid for.
Yes, true that. I mean, yes, flamenco dancing. I wish I could. I mean, that would be awesome. Just
I thought you'd like to get paid for sipping and chipping.
no, no, yeah, sipping and shipping's great. And I'm getting like 10 views, so it's perfect.
Anyway, I think we've talked a lot about a lot of stuff. This has been nuts and bolts tonight, folks,
Now,
or
we're
this
trying to
evening.
get back to the reselling portion of what we're doing
It is
and
nuts
less
and
about,
bolts.
hey, man,
I think we need to stay just fluid. I do think every now and again we need to do a show for sure that is nuts and
I
bolts
agree.
because
I always thought you were a little fluid,
there's
but
there's
yeah, that's a
nothing
whole different thing.
there. It's not if you don't know the basics. When I played on three different high school football teams coming along, the only one that I ever got close to a state championship with was where the coach did we didn't do anything funny, we didn't do anything flowery, we didn't do anything off the wall. It was basics, nuts and bolts, nuts
Yeah,
and bolts. Just straight, nothing outlandish. No double halfback passes, no none of that. It
no
was
fancy.
all it was all just the basics. And I think this day and age, we've gotten so far away from basics. I think you need to have the nuts and bolts down. And you need to have a plan. Like my plan, I'm going into my third year. My plan is to eventually now absolutely dedicate to relisting. Or not relisting, but listing consistently every day because that is the nuts and bolts that will make you money. I don't care what you're listing.
Exactly. I agree.
If
And that's where I am.
as long as it's a sellable item, don't make it something that's not a sellable item. Nothing illegal, nothing crazy. Just make sure you're listing 10 things every day.
Indigenous art all day, every day.
I think if you were listing 10 of that every day,
Yeah.
I think you would sell it because
I
again,
can niche down to a
everything
2.3% and make a living.
everything sells eventually and sell
Exactly.
what you list.
Exactly. I
You sell
agree.
what
But just, hang in there and understand that, me and him, we've been through some trials and tribulations over the last year. We've gotten pulled away from the idea of eBay. But I think eBay is a hobby for me, at least for the next 8 years. I don't see this being the way I make my living until I'm 60 years old.
I think it's going to be a hobby for me for probably until I retire. And I don't even know if it would go beyond a hobby when I retire. In fact, if I retire, I may just say, "Here, Ben, so you can have all my inventory."
I doubt
Um,
it. You know what? 10 years. Well, you're way younger than I am, so I mean, you got like an extra 10 years on me. So by the
I just
time I
don't,
figured it out,
I enjoy doing it. I enjoy finding the stuff. I enjoy somebody getting something that they wanted that I was able to find for them. I mean,
but yeah, look at that painting you bought for $25 for five, and then you sold
Yeah,
some. You made a
and
hundred
here's
bucks.
the thing.
That's a hobby. That's what we want. That hey, I found something cool that somebody wanted that lived on the other side of the country that I could ship them. I think that's what this is for me. I was
Well, what's
trying to
really
think of it.
cool what's really cool is if you go read on those paintings that I found, I was actually able to contact this lady who used to do this, her
Mhm.
son. Now he doesn't want the paintings. I was hoping he wanted them, but he's like, no, I got plenty of mom's paintings. He said, but he said it's just awesome to know that people still want them.
Yeah, it's cool.
You know,
It's you know,
it's a lot of
it's
fun.
all a matter of what you think of it. And then we haven't made a lot of money, but we've had a lot of fun doing it, right? And we could make more money if we spent more time doing it.
I think if I made 30 grand in a year, I know exactly what I'd be doing. But
Yeah,
because it don't take a whole lot to keep my purple walls up,
yeah, no doubt.
folks. The
And
reason these
now
walls are purple is because that's mold resistant drywall. Just gonna
lazy
let you know.
ass, lazy ass. Excuse me, I didn't sneeze. And I'm gonna, yeah, I know how not to like blur the background now, so you won't see it, but you'll see the purple. All right, everybody. Thank you again for wasting another hour of your life watching me and Mr. Joel talk about. Hey, we made a total of $200 this week. But you know what?
You didn't let me talk about my scam dude. Forget
Oh,
it.
talk about your scam dude. Go ahead.
No, I won't mention him. I won't mention him because
I,
you and I used to do our favorite seller.
yeah.
We tried to stay
Well, we're
away
gonna get
from
back to that kind of stuff.
the,
We
the
don't
bad
have
guys.
segments. We need to get the segments back. You
Yeah,
know.
there are bad guys out there. I'm just going to tell you there are bad guys. You're just going to want to block them. You're just going to want to block them.
Exactly.
I swore I'd never block anybody. Now I've blocked like 12
I'm not
buyers.
trying to cut you off. I mean, we're at an hour and 15 minutes. I figure it's family
Nah,
time.
we're gonna cut it off. We're gonna
All
cut it
right.
off.
Hey, nuts and bolts. I tried to, pull it back to reselling, talk about, things that our thought process on how to resell and what to do, whether it's right or wrong or indifferent. That's where we are. I think if you put everything into this, you can do this full time, minus the fact that you got to pay for health insurance. That's my concern. I'm just
We can
saying.
talk about that another time.
Yeah,
Since
I
I do,
agree. All
since
right.
I do health insurance, I'll give you guys on tune in for one coming up. I will actually give you my take on it, even though
All right.
I'm licensed to sell it.
There you go. He'll sell you your health insurance.
I'll be glad to sell it to you, but I'm gonna tell you about it, what I think about it. Anyway,
All right. Thank you guys again. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week. We're going to do this every damn week. We've committed. I was committed, but turns out I wasn't mentally unstable, so they let me out. So I can keep doing this. Right? True that.
bye, folks. Before we chase
See
this
you.
rabbit down a rabbit hole.